After being stuck in the barren streets of the day before, I decided to take a trip to the bustling streets of Hong Kong to play Sleeping Dogs. This wasn't my first time playing the game. I have a vague memory of playing it way back closer to when it was released, but I never got too far into it back then. You play as Wei Shen, an American going back home to the streets of prosperity Hong Kong, and after a drug deal gone wrong, you get locked up. In your holding cell, you run into an old friend of yours, Jackie Ma, who's glad to see you back and all too eager to introduce you to the triad he works for. You then are taken in for questioning, but surprise surprise, you are actually working undercover, and your mission is to infiltrate the Sun On Yi through the Water Street Gang faction, the triad Jackie was talking about. Before I lose myself in the story, let's talk about Sleeping Dog prides itself for: the combat. In Sleeping Dogs, you are able to fight using a variety of attacks, from leg breaks to roundhouses to even more. Did I mention you can also use environmental attacks such as throwing someone into an incinerator or tossing someone onto a meat hook? The combat is endless and very fun, something I personally really enjoyed. That lady looked at you kinda funny, roundhouse to the face. That guy buy the last pork bun, 8 weeks on crushes for him. Wait, what did that guy say? After you're let out of holding, you meet up with Jackie and are thrown straight into a combat tutorial. After mercilessly destroying all the goons, Jackie introduces you to the faction head, Winston Chu, and his lackey Conroy. The rest of the story can be summarized, so why don't I do that? Winston and his triad test you up to a point where they become very trustworthy of you, never suspecting that you are secretly working undercover. A little into the story, you go up against a rival faction leader under the same triad, Dog Eyes. Wei is somewhat invested in Dog Eyes since he is the reason why Wei's sister is dead. I'm gonna skip way more into the story now. Blah 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 blah. Story. Sleeping Dogs, underrated masterpiece. Blah blah blah. Dog Eyes then instigates a hit on Winston's wedding, killing both Winston and his fiancée Peggy. You end up saving the chairman of the Sun On Yi in the process, Uncle Po. Afterward, you go on a little revenge tour for Winston's mother, bringing her both one of the shooters and Dog Eyes himself. Aside from the main story, I found myself immersed in side quests and secondary storylines the game had to offer, such as investigating a racing serial killer, or investigating a doctor who was doing some shady side work for a rival triad. You meet a bunch of interesting characters throughout the story of Sleeping Dogs, including some prominent love interests. Wei's love interests are Tiffany the club manager, Amanda the American tourist, and Not Ping the nerdy hacker. These love interests serve little or no purpose beside leveling one of your upgrade trees called Face. The higher your face level, the more rewards you get to use in your day-to-day life. You even get a personal valet eventually. This is not the car I asked for. Sleeping Dogs also has a secondary side storyline where you are solving random police cases. The side quests besides the main and secondary story have you doing police jobs, doing favors for random passerbys, and drug busts and races. Some of the cooler side quests have you doing cop jobs where you're either participating in a police chase, responding to a store robbery in a huge SWAT truck, or going through an alleyway fighting and arresting a bunch of criminals. Some of them even have you taking up a sniper position to kill a hostage taker. Also, side note, racing in Sleeping Dogs is unbelievably easy because you can slam your car into other racers with no penalty besides some slight damage to your own car. Sleeping Dogs is one of the top 10 best open world games in my opinion because it genuinely is fun and immersive. In the past week I think I spent about 15 hours just playing through all the game had to offer. I mean, just walking around and being immersed in the streets of Hong Kong was really fun. One last note is that you can buy special costumes in Sleeping Dogs that let you do various things, such as the Sun Wukong outfit that lets you summon a staff while doing combos. I've been talking about how much fun I've been having with Sleeping Dogs, so let's get into the not so fun. Sleeping Dogs has side missions called drug busts, and the majority of them take place above ground. A small minority, however, take place in the sewers. Oh, okay, that's fine. The game has boats. Why don't I just use them? Let me tell you, whoever designed boats in this game fundamentally do not understand what using a boat should feel like. I enjoyed the game up until the point of having to use boats to get to certain areas that otherwise you would have to swim to. At one point I ditched a boat altogether because what I was inputting was not what the boat was doing. Besides boating, there really wasn't any other problems I had with the game. There were some bugs here and there, but I absolutely adore the combat and I'm sad about the fact we would probably never get a sequel to this underrated masterpiece. The reason being is that the studio behind the game shut down. The end of Sleeping Dogs comes at you pretty quick. Uncle Po, chairman of the Sun On Yi, dies in the hospital, prompting an election for a new chairman or chairwoman. Shen gets in the middle of the power struggle between potential candidates for the position, siding with Broken Nose Jiang due to the Big Smile Li being a genuine piece of shit. Li orders attacks against members of the Sun On Yi in retaliation, including kidnapping Jackie and handing him over to the 18K, a rival triad. Before the election, Jackie sends a text away so they can meet up, and when Wei gets to the location, he finds Jackie's disemboweled corpse and gets knocked the fuck out. Wei wakes up and is met face to face with a feared Triad Enforcer who knows that Wei is a cop. The Triad Enforcer, Lu Shentong, tortures Wei, but then Wei manages to kill him and escape. Wei then leads an assault against Li's compound, finally leading to Wei finding Li and killing him. Before Wei kills Li, he tells us that Pendrew sold out Wei. Jiang becomes chairwoman of the Sun On Yee and sends Wei footage of Pendrew killing Uncle Po, which is enough evidence to get him locked up. After the main story of Sleeping Dogs, you unlock some new tools to use, such as being able to grab and tase enemies and being able to commandeer anyone's vehicle. And yeah, that was Sleeping Dogs, a game I believe is severely underrated. The game has a lot compared to other like-minded games released around the same time, and I believe it holds up pretty fondly. Also, I didn't even touch the DLC that was released for the game, so if you would like to see that, let me know in the comments down below.